Yeah, I think because the Big Ten has such a long tradition and there's so many historic games and rivalries for some teams, and then others maybe not as much. It was a challenge, I think, to put this together and not have the East and the West anymore. You're tying in UCLA, you're tying in USC. There's a lot of things at play here. So I think they did the best they could and tried to put that all together. I know that one of the goals was to try to get as many teams as possible in the playoffs. So, when you're looking at that, you want to have certain teams that you play on a yearly basis, but at the same time, you also want to try to do the best you can to get as many guys into the playoffs. And, people see it from different points of view. I'm glad we still have the rivalry game. I do think we should consider, when we play it, just because you may end up playing them back-to-back weeks, which would be awkward. I know that, we need to consider the tradition, but I think it's worth a conversation on when, because I think that's significant just on how the season plays out. But other than that, I think they did the best they could with it. I think the good news is they didn't build a schedule that is locked in for a long period of time. I think that they can, do this for a couple years, reevaluate, and then have the flexibility to change it up if needed. It doesn't really matter at this point. The decision's been made. I think, we like playing Penn State. They're a great team, and it's one of those games where you find out where you're at year in and year out. And do I like playing them? I mean, not really, but because they're a very good team. But at the same time, I think the rivalry's been excellent. I think it's good for college football to see Penn State and Ohio State play. I just think that the tradition's so strong and it's been going on for so long. I think, it's something that, has to happen for Ohio State. And, and I think, we got to play the game every year. Oh, yeah, where it is, I think we should. I think it's worth a long discussion about where that game should be placed. I think if it was the same way as it was this past year, we'd be playing back-to-back games, and then who knows, maybe even playing again in the playoffs. So I just think that needs to be taken into consideration. Not that we shouldn't move it, but I think it's worth talking about.
Just real quick on that idea.
Yeah.
That's a big deal that will happen in the right game. What would be or are the difficulties of playing a team like that back to back? And what you're saying that could be, if that happened, what would be the negative about it?
Yeah, well, it's the game could not have an impact on a whole bunch in terms of if both teams are in the Big Ten playoff or Big Ten championship game already, then could it minimize the game? That's my concern. Even if you played it week 11, week 10, no matter what, it's going to matter. But if you're playing them in the Big Ten championship game already, it could be something that we haven't experienced before. That's all. So I think it's worth a discussion.
So what's your any discussion to your knowledge yet about any of that? Or you're just
Yeah. No, I know that they're talking about it. I just don't think that any hard decisions have been made. I don't think they're going to be made here real soon. So I just want to be part of those conversations.
Theoretically, you can play them 3 times in a row, with 12 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, that would diminish the original.
Well, I think as we're talking it through, you're ultimately going to want to get into the final. We're getting way ahead of ourselves right now, but you want to be in the final four. You want to be in the top 4, so you have a bye in that first week. So it would matter, but just not the way that you and I know the game. And so, but it's going to be a new experience, But let's just talk about this upcoming year. We got a long way to go before we get there.